Hello and welcome to Knife Delights and welcome to kind of a lightning round. That's right, I found 15 of my old videos. I've reduced them down to a 1-minute video on each one of these knives. So we're going to do 15 knives in 15 minutes and the reviews start right now. What we have here is a very nice two-bladed jackknife by Kutmaster, and the knife in general is in pretty good shape. You've got your clip point there, and then we got a nice little pen blade there. The biggest problem with this knife right now, as you can see on this bolster here, looks like we got some rust there, and we want to get rid of that before it gets too deep. It starts pitting. And then we got some rust there on the back springs. And down in here in the pivot area, if I can get it out here, seems like right down in here I was seeing a little rust down in there. Maybe not. Oh, right on here, right here. So we want to get that taken care of. Oh yeah, another Frontier double eagle. And this is pattern 4135, and as you can see, it is a Stockman. Yeah. And just going over it here a little bit, looking it over, it looks to be it's a very well-made Stockman. Of course, it's got the wood covers, brass bolsters, brass pins, and one thing I noticed, and I need to check some of my other Stockmans, but look at the back springs there. See that big thick back spring, and then the smaller one? That one single big one is for your clip blade. So they really did put a big strong back spring in there for that clip point there. Isn't that gorgeous? Hello and welcome to Knife Delights. Well, yeah, John at J.O. Ventures sent me this great Granddaddy Barlow, and I was just going to do some restoration on it, but now that Junior's broke it, I guess I'll have to make good and get it fixed up. No, in all seriousness, folks, I knew that it was broken, this little tab up here on the shell cover. It was broke off, and John asked if there was something that I could do with that and maybe get it fixed, and I do think I've figured out a good way. Using some case paste for a final polish. I think them bolsters came out looking pretty good. There's our blade. Here is the other side. So John, I hope you're happy with this. I tried to give it some extra TLC. You're going to have to work on that liner there a little bit. The other day, I made a nice antique store haul. Got about 10 knives. And one of them is this Marbles Sunfish or elephant toe. Do you know what the difference between a sunfish and an elephant toe is? Well, from what I can tell, my research, absolutely nothing. Just a different name for the same pattern of knife. Look at these big old things. Yeah, but I just saw this in the showcase there. It's got this beautiful stag bone, brown, and they did a wonderful job on this. Of course, this is the new Marbles, made in China. You know, the name was purchased. It just needs cleaned up some. I worked on those bolsters just a little bit. Just need some TLC here, clean it up. But now this is interesting because, well, yeah, I can open it the way it's intended to be opened. There's your main blade. And doesn't it look like a duck or a tern or something? An aquatic type of bird with a really long beak to it? Yeah. So there's your spear point blade. And it is a liner lock. So there we go. There's your liner. And over here, got another blade. It's a little stiff right now. but this is a serrated blade. And I immediately thought this would be handy as a rescue knife because you see how it's blunt there on the end. If you're trying to do a rescue, like cutting a seatbelt off of someone, it's nice to have a blunt end on there, so as you're, trying to get it. This is a little beauty, a little gem right here. Oh, it is so delightful. This was made by W.H. Morley and Sons, and it's got a stamp here of New York, but I also believe on these smaller blades, it has W.H. Morley and Sons Germany on it. And we'll get into the explanation of all that here at the end of the video. It's also got this clover leaf here on the reverse side of the tang there. And we'll discuss all of that. We're going to discuss the pattern and all of that after I get this knife cleaned up. I haven't done a lot of research on it yet, but I do know it was made probably between 1913 and 1927. And it's just got these beautiful mother of pearl covers. So rather than doing a lot of research, I'm just itching to clean this knife. So I'm just going to get started and we're going to clean it and then we'll discuss the particulars. This is the early version and this is a medium-sized Voyager. They come in different sizes. I don't even think they make the medium size anymore. Of course, Cold Steel, they didn't make a small. The medium is the small. Everything's big at Cold Steel. And the handle shape is a little different than the modern versions of the Voyager. This one also was made in Japan. That's another indicator that it's a very early model because they had a lot of their early knives made in Japan and they kind of switched to Taiwan and then they switched to China. So there's a look. This was $3. $3 for this knife. What a bargain. It is very lightweight, and I do like this knife. And I might just end up starting to carry this one. Of course, I can polish and clean that blade up just a little bit. Get those fingerprints off and such. But hello, everybody. I've got a second dispatch knife to review. This one is a fixed blade. And it is a, they call it the fixed blade. It's got D2 steel. And it is a full tang knife. Has these really wonderful G10 scales in red. Very nicely done. Very smooth here. Good transitions there. It's very smoothly done there. One thing I like is, look at these rivets. They're like brass, I think, but they're see-through. Yeah, you can see through them, almost like tiny little lanyard holes. Very well done. Nice and smooth there. Just overall a very, very nice looking knife. I don't know what this blade shape is. The closest I can come to is it reminds me of a Nessmuck. But here's our can opener. Pretty standard. And then here is your cap lifter and screwdriver blade. Again, pretty standard. Our main blade here. And nice spare point blade. And what's interesting is the year of manufacture is stamped on the main blade. So these make handy knives if you're looking to get a knife for someone with their date of birth on it. If you were born in 2004, well, you can look for a 2004 version of it. Of course, that's only going to work from like 1958 to 2007 or so. And then we do have the easy open there, the opening notch. And there is your awl or your punch. Hey, on the table here today, we've got us a Craftsman Stockman pattern knife. And this is my brother's knife. If you'll recall, my brother gave me a whole bunch of Boy Scout and Cub Scout knives to review. And while it's not a Boy Scout knife, but it is a Craftsman, one that he's carried for many years and used. I believe he said he bought this back in the 1970s. As you can see, we've got some rust issues going on here. It needs a good cleaning, but here we go. You can see the blades have lost their snap. So I'm going to try to clean this one up Oh, well, look, that don't even want to go down in. There we go. Let's see if we can get this one cleaned up and working properly the way it should. So I'm going to do some, shoot some footage of some of the steps I'm taking here. I won't show the whole thing because I don't think you'd watch 2 or 3 hours. So let's just see what the marketing department has to say here. The 842 Sprint Ops Pro is designed to be the ultimate everyday carry knife, featuring ball bearing technology that allows this knife to open smoothly and rapidly when you engage the flipper. It's professional grade in every way. A sturdy and reliable liner lock safely secures the blade open when in use. The 3 1/8" blade is made of S30V stainless steel and is coated with Cerakote graphite, black coating for extra durability. The handle is made of a tough, contrasting blue and black G10 and has a convenient deep carry pocket clip. The 842 Sprint Ops Pro is perfect for anyone who wants the best materials on a compact, modern, everyday carry knife. Well, let's just take a little closer look at this very delightful knife. And what we have here is a Whittler pattern knife. And oh my goodness, you get these bright really shiny stainless steel knives, and the fingerprints, you just open it up once or twice and the prints are just all over it. Let's just kind of wipe that off a little bit so we can take a look at this here. And here on the pile side of the main blade, the clip point says Colt, and the tang stamp reads CT207, quality since 1836, and then the country of origin is China. So these covers are this really nice bone stag. It has half stops. There's a look at the covers. We have us a Klouse Cutlery Stockman. And Klouse Cutlery was founded by Elrya Shear Works by John and Henry Klouse in Elrya, Ohio. At one time, it was the largest maker of scissors and shears in the world. They started out in a little one-room building and built and built and built. Yeah, so here we have our Stockman. Let's start with these handles, these covers. Just look at this beautiful brown jigged bone. Yeah, isn't that nice? It's very light on this side. It's a lot darker on this side. Kind of looks like a great big old peanut, doesn't it? Yeah. Of course, it's got the nickel silver bolsters. They have steel liners on it. This is a Ranger two-bladed jackknife, and the knife's actually not in too bad a shape as far as the blades are concerned. They've had some use. We've got some etching on there that I'm not real sure about yet, but you know what I'm going to do with this knife. The blades don't have much walk and talk to them, and as you can see here, let me get my trusty flashlight out. We can get down in there and see lots of lint down in there. Let's just clean that lint out real quick. It's kind of easy on these jackknives like this. You just scrape in one direction, don't have the other blade to worry about. See there? See all that coming out of there? That's going to be our first start here. Well, I thought I'd break out my grandpa's 18 pattern Stockman. Now, I did a refurbishing video on this, well, it's been over a year ago, I think. It's been a pretty popular video. It's gotten a lot of views. But I just thought, you know what, let's break out Grandpa's knife. It brings back a lot of good memories when you have a knife from a family member, your dad, your grandpa, uncle, whomever. So, yep, this is the 18 pattern, case XX. What do we got there? Okay, there's the pattern, 6318 HP. Now, for the longest time, I thought that these were synthetic covers, but they're bone. They are definitely bone. Jig bone. And I looked up on Case's